I'm Andrea Smith. We are live from CES 2014 with Mommy Tech TV. I have such amazing guests here. I'm so excited to have the pleasure of having Nolan Bushnell here, co-founder and chairman of BrainRush, also founder of Atari and Chuck E. Cheese, and author of a new book, Finding the Next Steve Jobs. What a diverse resume.
Well, that's what you have to do to keep all the fog away.
Tell me about this latest endeavor, Finding the Next Steve Jobs. What's the book about?
It's really about how you create creative ecosystems. Because what a lot of people think is that creativity is more about this brilliant spark of imagination. The light bulb goes off, or the lightning strikes. It's really more about hard work and figuring out the ways to solve all the problems that happens with innovation.
And that's really something that's happening so fast right now. Innovation, we're changing the way we learn, we're changing the way we do things.
It's absolutely accelerating towards, as we call, the singularity.
So what have you found, and what are you saying? Should we be really exploring different things other than just regular standard education? Should we be teaching kids differently?
Well, I think we should definitely be teaching kids differently. The job market is going to be so vastly different in the next 20 to 30 years that it's almost impossible to figure out exactly what you train kids for, because most of the jobs that are going to be available in 20 years haven't been invented yet. And so what do we do about it? And I think that the best way is just have these curious, enthusiastic, creative problem solvers.
And
that always works.
Is that BrainRush?
Yes, it is. Well, yes and no. BrainRush is about brain science and education, and it teaches about 10 times faster in the classroom, and we think maybe even 20 times. And we've tested on over 200,000 children and done really, really well, getting at least a 10x acceleration. What I believe that does is that gets Common Core out of the way so that we can now have a lot of projects and a lot of things that are much more relevant to the jobs of the future.
And also, it seems to me that, and we hear this in high school kids, they're just not engaged. You know, just learning basic history and geography and science is no longer engaging kids whose minds are busy building billion-dollar websites, like, for example, the Tumblr founder.
Well, not just that. What's happening today is that all that information is available. So people say, well, why should I learn it? You know, as soon as I want to know it, I'll just look it up. I'll Google it. And that
gets into a whole nother discussion.
A whole nother discussion. But also, enthusiasm is actually something that's been being trained out of kids. School right now is boring. When you have a world that's immersed in this technology, school can't keep up.
So how do you identify the next Steve Jobs? How do you find that person and really spark their enthusiasm and creativity?
Well, I really look for enthusiasm and creativity before I hire somebody. I never look for credentials. In fact, one of the guys that invented the Atari VCS was a high school dropout. You know, and hiding in plain sight is Steve Jobs himself, who had, 1 quarter of college, 2 quarters of college. These are not outliers from the sense that if you have passion, you have creativity. I mean, Steve Jobs, I'd come into work and he'd be sleeping under his desk. He had passion, he had drive, he was going to go somewhere.
And dedication and a vision.
And you knew he was. You know, it was just that simple.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you so much, Nolan Bushnell, author of Finding the Next Steve Jobs. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Andrea Smith from Mommy Tech TV, live from CES 2014.